वीडियो में किसी टेक्निकल रीजन की वजह से वीडियो स्टॉप हो गया था, so we'll start from here only. So was the description of the city in the epic added after the main narrative had been composed, when after the 6th century BCE urban centers flourished in the region, or was it a flight of poetic fancy which cannot always be verified by comparison with other kinds of evidence? Consider another instance. One of the most challenging episodes in the Mahabharata is Draupadi's marriage with the Pandava, an instance of polyandry. ठीक है, that is central to the narrative. If we examine the section of the epic that describes this event, it is evident that the authors attempted to explain it in a variety of ways. Draupadi, the king of Panchala, organized a competition where the challenge was to string a bow and hit a target. The winner would be chosen to marry his daughter Draupada. So Arjun was victorious and was garlanded by Draupadi. The Pandavas returned with her to their mother Kunti, who even before she saw them asked them to share whatever they had got. She realized her mistake when she saw Draupadi, but her command could not be violated. After much deliberation, Yudhishthir decided that Draupadi would be their common wife. When Draupada was told about this, he protested. However, the seer Vyasa arrived and told him that the Pandavas were in reality incarnation of Indra, whose wife had reborn as Draupadi, and they were thus destined for each other. So Vyasa added that in another instance, a young woman had prayed to Shiva for a husband, and in her enthusiasm had prayed 5 times instead of once. This woman was now reborn as Draupadi, and Shiva had fulfilled her prayer. Convinced by these stories, Draupadi consented to the marriage. A wall excavated at Hastinapur. This is how the city is described in Adi Parvan of Mahabharata. The city bursting like the ocean, packed with hundreds of mansions, displayed with its gateways, arches, turrets like massing clouds, the splendor of great Indra city. ठीक है, तो इन पांडवों को किसका इंcarnation बनाया था? इंद्रा जी का. तो present day historians suggest that the fact that the author describe a polyandrous union indicate that polyandry may have been prevalent amongst ruling elites of at some point of time. At the same time, the fact that so many different explanations are offered for the episode suggests that polyandry gradually fell into disfavor amongst the Brahmin, who reworked and developed the text through the centuries. Some historians note that while the practice of polyandry may have seemed unusual or even undesirable from the Brahminical point of view, it was prevalent in the Himalayan region. Others suggest that there may have been a shortage of women during the time of warfare, and this led to polyandry. In other words, it was attributed to a situation of crisis. Some early sources suggest that polyandry was not only or even the most prevalent form of marriage. When did the author choose to associate this practice with the central characters of Mahabharata? We need to remember that creative literature often has its own narrative requirement and does not always literally reflect the social reality. The growth of Mahabharata did not stop with the Sanskrit version. Over the centuries, versions of the epic were written in variety of language through an ongoing process of dialogue between the people, community, and those who wrote the text. Several stories that originated in specific regions or circulated among certain people found their way into the epic. At the same time, the central story of the epic was retold in different ways. An episode was depicted in sculptures and paintings. They also provided themes for a wide range of performing art, plays, dance, and other kinds of narrative. Most retelling or reenactments of the epic draw on the main narrative in creative ways. Let us look at one example, an episode from Mahabharata that has been transformed by Mahasweta Devi, a contemporary Bengali writer known for raising her voice against all forms of exploitation and oppression. In this particular instance, she works out alternative possibilities from the main story of Mahabharata and draws attention to the question on which the Sanskrit text is silent. The Sanskrit text describes how Duryodhan plotted to kill the Pandavas by inviting them to stay in a specially prepared house of lag, which he planned to set on fire. Forewarned, the Pandavas dug a tunnel to ensure their escape. Then Kunti arranged for a feast. While most of the invitees were Brahmins, a Nishad woman came with her 5 sons. When they were satiated with drink and fell off to sleep, the Pandavas escaped, setting fire to the house. When the bodies of the woman and her sons were discovered, people thought that the Pandavas were dead. In a short story titled Kunti O Nishadi, Mahasweta Devi takes up the narrative from where the Mahabharata ends it. It's set the story in a forest when Kunti retires after the war. Kunti now has time to reflect on her past and often confesses to what she regards as a failing, talking with the earth, the symbol of nature. Every day she sees the Nishad who came to collect wood, honey, tuber, root. One Nishadi, a Nishad woman, often listens to Kunti when she talks with the earth. One day there was something in the air. The animals were fleeing the forest. Kunti noticed that the Nishadi was watching her and she was startled when she spoke to her and asked if she remembered the house of black. Yes, Kunti said, she did. Did she remember a certain elderly Nishadi and her 5 young sons, and that she had served them wine till they were senseless, while she escaped with her own son? That Nishadi, not you, Kunti exclaimed. The Nishadi replied that the woman who was killed had been her mother-in-law. She added that while Kunti had been reflecting on her past, nor when did she remember that 6 innocent lives that were lost because she had wanted to save herself and her son. As they spoke, the flames drew nearer. The Nishadi escaped to safety, but Kunti remained where she was. सो टाइमलाइन ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसको ध्यान से एक बार टाइमलाइन तो बहुत ज़्यादा पार्ट हो जाता है. सो 500 बीसी में एक अष्टाध्यायी किसने लिखी? नहीं, पाणिनि ने. संस्कृत ग्रामर अष्टाध्यायी अ वर्क ऑन संस्कृत ग्रामर किसने लिखी है? पाणिनि ने. 500 से 200 बीसी तक मेजर धर्मशास्त्र संस्कृत में लिखे गए हैं. 500 से 100 बीसी तक अर्ली बुद्धिस्ट टेक्स्ट इंक्लूडिंग द त्रिपिटका इन पाली हैज बीन रिटन. 500 से 400 सीई तक रामायण महाभारत संस्कृत में लिखा गया है. 200 बीसी से 200 सीई मनुस्मृति संस्कृत में कंपोजिशन कंपाइलेशन ऑफ तमिल संगम लिटरेचर एज वेल. 100 सी से चरक और सुश्रुता, चरक संहिता सुश्रुत संहिता है, दोनों मेडिसिन में है संस्कृत में. 200 सी ऑनवर्ड में कंपाइलेशन ऑफ पुराणाज इन संस्कृत. 300 सी में नाट्य शास्त्र किसका? ऑफ भारत, अ वर्क ऑन ड्रामेटोलॉजी इन संस्कृत. 300 600 अदर धर्मशास्त्र इन संस्कृत. 400 से 500 संस्कृत प्लेस इंक्लूडिंग द वर्क ऑफ कालिदास, वर्क ऑन एस्ट्रोनॉमी एंड मैथमेटिक्स बाय आर्यभट्ट, वराहमिहिर इन संस्कृत. Astronomy and Mathematics by Aryabhatta Varahami in Sanskrit. Compilation of Jain works in Prakrit. 1966 preparation and publication of the critical edition of Mahabharata. 1970 J.B.A. Van Butian begins English translation of the critical edition, remains incomplete after his death in 1978. So finally we have completed this chapter also. Thank you so much.